Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Oh, yes. The Supreme Court of these United States has issued a ruling, and it does two things. It stops federal judges from enacting an injunction or stopping or slowing the proceedings of the administration's policies, because it slows things down, it throws a wrench in the plans, it mucks up the process and all this litigation, and it never gets enacted. And like Trump was saying, I'm here on a mandate from the American people. They gave me a list of things to do. I'm trying to do them. And these federal judges, who in a lot of cases are progressive leftists who don't like me or don't like my policy, will have an injunction, and then it fucks everything up. I'm here to do a job. He didn't say the F word this time, but he said it the other day, and that shit was funny. But it's slowing down the process, and I'm not able to do the things that the American people put me back in office to do. He said it's very clear, it's very concise, and they told me what they want me to do, and I'm trying to do it, and these judges are stopping me. It also ends, and this is my favorite part, it ends birthright citizenship. I've been saying for years that I think it's absolutely ridiculous that just because your mom went into labor on our land, that you are now an American citizen, even though your mother was illegal. So was the dinner bell that has been rung in this country for decades, because they knew that as long as they made it here and they squeezed out a baby, that baby was then an American citizen. You can't send an American citizen to another country. Who's going to take care of this brand new American citizen? We don't want to be burdened with all these orphans, so we'll let the mom stay to take care of the baby, and then the mom can bring the dad can bring his parents, and they can bring their uncle, and they can bring their cousins, and they can bring their cats and their goats and their sheep and their ducks and their cows and all that bullshit, their third world way of life, their backwards 1500s in the past culture, and plop it right down here in America, simply because the mom went on American soil. That is one of the stupidest things we've ever allowed to happen in this fucking country, and I'm glad that it's over. You can no longer come here 8.5 months pregnant, waddle your ass through the airport, waddle your ass across the border, have that baby, and now you're anchored here. You may have also heard the term anchor baby. That's what that means. Once that baby is here, that family and its bloodline is anchored here with it. They're not going anywhere. And now they can bring over dozens of their family members, take over entire neighborhoods, parts of town, and turn it into the third world fly-infested shiza hole that they came from. Don't act stupid. Don't act like every other country around the world is just like the West. No, it's not. Because most people from Western countries stay in Western countries because they like it. Now, England, the UK, is turning to Englandistan. But for the most part, you don't see Americans pouring out of America, going to other countries and taking it over, or vice versa, because their countries are pretty good. They have freedoms, they have choice, they have democracy, and all the things that you need to be a Westerner. But ending birthright citizenship is amazing. It's kind of a duh moment. Why would you ever do that? It's almost like there's a group of people who make the rules and they hate the citizens and they want to screw us over at every turn. It's almost like they want to bend us over and not even use lubricant on it. They won't even spit on it. They just want to give it to us raw and dry so we can feel the friction. And occasionally they want to remind us how powerful they are and how powerless we are. And one of the many ways that they do this is flooding our country with third world citizens and turning our country into their country. Because if you're given the American dream, let me change that. If you've stolen the American dream, or somebody stole it and then gave it to you, you're receiving stolen property. Well, you're not going to assimilate. You're not going to become American. You're just going to be in America. And that's bad for Americans. So you're just going to import your way of life here, which sucks for our way of life. But those people don't care about that. They want to bring that here. And there's a video, I'll put a link in the description box, of Coney Island. This video is the perfect snapshot into what they want our country to look like. And this is what New York is going to look like first if you guys elect that communist, Zohan Mamdani. I know it's Zoran or some other shit, but it looks too close to Zohan, that Adam Sandler movie. So I call him Zohan. So if Zohan gets in charge, that's what the entire city of New York is going to look like. And this beach is filthy. It's full of people who weren't born here. You didn't see any black folks. You didn't see any white folks. There's a bunch of brown people from third world countries, and you could tell because that's what the beach looked like. You ever see a video or a picture that make your toes curl? You imagine walking on that surface barefoot and how cold and slimy and dangerous it is? That's what this beach was. There was fucking trash everywhere. Clothing, garbage. I'm sure there was a diaper or two. It was absolutely disgusting. There was no way in the world that I would allow my American feet to touch such filth. I'm too good for that. I'm above that. I'm American. Do you know who I am? Our beaches don't look like that. That's one good thing about California. One of the few good things about California is our beaches are pretty damn clean. Now, someone's going to say, I don't know, Jericho, I live by the so-and-so beach. You get hepatitis walking around there. Well, I don't know. I'm sure all of them aren't great, but for the most part, the beaches in California are pretty clean. At least where I live in the Monterey, Santa Cruz area, up and down that piece of the coastline, the beaches look pretty damn good. Certainly not like Coney Island. Ew. So if you go to the beach on Coney Island, do you get a hepatitis shot before you go on the beach or after you go on the beach? Do they give you the tetanus shot before you walk on the beach or after? I don't understand. Let me know the order, because it looked like you would need one. It looked like some doctor or some nurse's assistant or some phlebotomist was going to be sticking you in your stomach with a needle so you don't get lockjaw. What? That shit looked disgusting. But that's what they want to turn it into by this birthright citizenship, because they want you to believe that every single immigrant that came here is just scared and huddled and wet and cold, and they just want a couple drops from that humongous triple D veiny and gorged American tit. If you could just squeeze a couple drops of that luscious fatty milk to go across my third world chapped lip, if you could just give me a couple drops, I'd be so appreciative. But instead of that, they threw an elbow, knocked us off the nipple, and now they're suckling from it. That's what they want by allowing birth. You should see the numbers and the amount of people that are allowed to come here off of one person, off of that one baby. That's not only how you change the face of neighborhoods and cities and states, but it's also how you change the voting bloc. The people who are going to keep those people in power forever. That's why we have Nancy Pelosi, who's kissing 90 in the ass, still in office. Maxine Waters is 86 or 87 years old. And the people that are giving all this free shit and services to are the ones who keep putting them in office time after time. It's disgusting, but it has stopped, thankfully. So now that that's off the list, Trump, get your presidential pen, cross that off of your honeydew list, ending birthright citizenship, and now we can move on to the next thing. What will that be? Meet me in the comment section. Talk to me, goose. How do you feel about birthright citizenship being ended? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? That's why I'm going to meet you there. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.